Boom boom. Doo 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 doo. Doo 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 doo. Doo 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 doo. Peak fiction. Doo 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 doo. Doo 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 doo. Doo 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 doo. Let's go, yo. Chapter is out early. Chapter is out early. Chapter is out early. Let's go. Let's go, yo. Man, dude. Hold on. Yo, I don't have anything set up. Hold on, give me a sec. Make sure. Dude, my cousin reached out to me this morning. He was like, yo, chapter's out. I was like, what? And it was such a heavy day. I was like, hold on, man. I got to get all my stuff done. Because, you know, today the chapter was out, but I was not prepared in the slightest. So I'm super, super excited for it. We are here now for some peak. Where is the camera at, man? Hold on. Ba-boom. 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 And ba-bam. Let's go. Yo, y'all see the fresh cut, dude? You know, I'm out here, dog. It's been a couple of days since I've recorded. But hold on. I think right there we should be good. But yo, you see the fresh cut? Yo, I'm out here, man. You know, I had to get the fresh cut. Just in case, you know, I had to look out for Robin. I was like, hold on, man. Just in case Robin's in this chapter, Nami in this chapter, you know, I was like, I don't know, man. I gotta get a nice fresh cut. You know what I mean? So, let's see what this one has in store for us. It's just like, yo, what can we even begin to say? Well, actually, before I get started, is the audio good? Is the audio good? But before I go on this tangent, please let me know if the audio's good, because yo, I'm about to go crazy. I'm about to go crazy, man, because this is we're living through some peak, son. We're living through some peak. Oh, I can't even see, dude. Legitimately, I can't even see. Audio good, yo. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you so much, yo. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all, man. So listen to me, y'all. Like I was saying, first and foremost, Dr. Recon Punk is in the building. Y'all see the stash? And yo, let me tell you, dude. Every single week, I come on here and you know I set the trim 100%. You got to keep the stash clean, ready to go. But this week, I trimmed it a little different. I was like, if I'm already going to be Dr. Recon Punk, I might as well accept it, you know what I mean? So I had a little curl of that, but just for the chapter reaction, just for the chapter reaction. I am here with a curl right here on the lip. Because if I'm going to be Dr. Recon Punk, son, if the brain cells are going to go from here to up here, I had to, you know, I'm in the cosplay, you know what I mean? My cosplay is a little different, though. My cosplay is genuinely me becoming said individual. And so if I'm going to become Dr. Recon Punk and we rocking the people's mustache, then ladies and gentlemen, we are here not just with that, but we here rocking the fresh cut too. Y'all, it is time for the latest installment in what has been without question a historic run by my bro. This man Oda, did he go to Africa? I know he said he was either going to Africa or wanted to go to Africa. Regardless, his intentions were to go to Africa. When this man's intentions stated he wanted to go to Africa, from that point on, dog. And in the last chapter, author's comment, my boy came out here, and you know how like Wheezy, in his prime, you hear the if he's featured on a track, you hear the lighter, or like with Drake and. It's like, you know, bro, you know some gas is about to be dropped. This man Oda in the author's comments was like, son, I'm cooking in the kitchen. I'm cooking in the... Listen, I'm Gordon Ramsay right now. He's doing this masterclass on cooking. Oda said, that's me. That's my imposter. Gordon Ramsay thinks he's Ichiro Oda. I'm Gordon Ramsay. And so this man is out here ever since, I mean, the beginning of the year, honestly. But specifically since the 1 month break, son, it's been pedal to the metal, gas, peak. And I'm like, wait a minute. Then what in all of the Flagnards coming off of a major reveal from the Void Century? This man's soul is breathing oxygen. Robin had such an emotional moment last week. And then above all of that, Dragon and Vegapunk were in the same panel together, ladies and gentlemen. How in all of Onigashima are we about to possibly get even higher than that? I don't know, but we're about to find out in chapter 1067 of the best-selling manga in history. And let me tell y'all, as I state always before these videos start, especially for people who are brand new to the channel, if you are not a fan of any type of words in the universal language, that goatness, that peakness, that rawness, or that Yamamoto Genryusai fireness, if that's not in your dictionary, son, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave the video, because there's about to be a lot of that, son, a lot of that, because we are here today to read what is nearly the best-selling comic of all time. In one, Recon Punk is here. Peace. Yo, I felt like Dr. Vegapunk today, bro. Real talk. I felt like Dr. Vegapunk today with how much work I had to do just to get here, ladies and gentlemen, today. I felt like Vegapunk, that's for sure. Let me go get my laptop. My laptop's actually charging as we speak. If it dies mid-chapter, just know it wasn't me. It wasn't me. You know, is it true that another site published One Piece this morning? If that's true, yo, that's like crazy to me. Of course, I'm loyal to my guys, you know what I'm saying? I'm loyal to my guys, man. TCB, I'm out here. So we're this deep into the game, they have yet to fail me. I was like, no, that's my brothers. I don't care if a Manga Panda 1 manga translation is out. And if the person who translated is in the comment section, nothing but love to you. No, nothing but love. But I got loyalty to the game, son. So shout out to TCB. So I'm going to read some TCB. Give me a second. Give me a sec. Let me go peg leg. Let me go some peg leg. Alright. Let's do this, boys. One Piece chapter 1067. Let me pull up the site. Yo, man. Guys. This week has been crazy. It's been a fun week. So, oh, good. I think One Piece is the only one that's out. It's first just like last week. When are we getting Hunter? So for the Hunter fans in the comment section, because we're doing this early, if Hunter comes out earlier than last week, I might be able to do it on Friday. So just keep an eye out for that. Because, of course, we're doing this super early, bro. So here we go, man. Chapter 1067. And the title of the chapter is Punk Records. Is that the name of this man Oda's, his studio? Is he, what in the world is this? Chevrolet? I ain't trying to drive a Chevy, bro. I'm trying to drive the GOAT. That truck was kind of nice, though, bro. You know, hey, that truck was kind of nice. That might be the bus that this man Oda's driving. It's got that burgundy in. That might be the Sanji whip. Okay, the Sanji whip out here. Advertisements. You got a Chevy? Hey, I'll take it. But regardless, so this chapter is called the Punk Record. So it looks like we're not actually going into the grill this week. What we're actually going to do is get into the heat. I mean, my dog is about to go in. I made the reference earlier to Wheezy, but son, it looks like he's about to drop a mixtape here. And on the cover, in Reed Schwarzer and Crow Armburst fashion, is a side-by-side profile pic of Judge and Caesar. Judge and Caesar in front of this massive castle, which I'm going to assume is just a part of the Germa fleet. Yeah, you see the flag in the background. And here we have Ichiji and Niji, I believe, in the background here. Shout out to Sasuke's voice actor. I forgot, who are you again? Judge, everybody forgets this man Caesar, dude. You know, at this point, Oda might actually use that as a plot point in the future. I know, if I was in his position, I would. Everybody forgets him. And then there's Gangster Gastina. I know, I'd be messing with memories, and I'd be like, dude, Pudding and Caesar are working together. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. We're memory manipulation out here, ladies and gentlemen. Because it feels like everyone forgets Caesar, bro. It feels like Oda himself often forgets Caesar. But he has not forgotten in this cover page because my boy is eventually going to make his return. So we have a really nice Okada Omega type of shot right here. I mean, Oda's obviously a massive wrestling fan, so this is inspired by that. So let's see the author's comment for this week, man. Last few have been crazy. So you can listen to the Film Red SBS by using an app called Secondary Audio Screening. Write that down, write that down. Oh, where's it? This man said secondary audio. Yeah, I'm real deal. I'm trying to... if anybody has a translation for that. Film Red SBS. We're doing SBSs for movies? Yo, Shanks moves different. I've never seen that in my entire existence as a One Piece fan. We're doing SBSs for movies. That's why we've seen color pages. We've seen volumes. You know, I remember when Strong World came out and we had the chapter for that. And it's like, but an SBS? Called Secondary Audio Screening at Any Theater. I rejected it as a Blu-ray special feature. So it was originally supposed to be a Blu-ray special feature, and Oda said, not today. Not today. So let's get into the chapter. And we see Bonnie. What happened to your head? It used to be like a massive light bulb. Oh, so that's the way that Bonnie saw that head? Whenever she saw that the massive head that this man had, it would look like a light. That's actually very interesting, considering the connections, right, to multiple different time periods in history. So it's like a light bulb, obviously, with Benjamin Franklin. So it's I wonder what Oda is cooking there in regards to like the design. Like, you know, obviously his original design did look like a massive brain, like a sack, honestly. But it was a massive brain, and it's like, okay, so obviously, you know, got rid of that. Now has the Newton thing on his head, but which happened after splitting himself up into 6 different parts. But still, the fact that I never really put 2 and 2 together, that's what Oda was trying to go for, was a massive light bulb. It was getting a tad too long, so I cut it. We're not talking about hair here. And my boy cut his brain. We'll have to cut our brain sometimes, man. You feel me? Everybody has different ways of doing it. My boy just decided to cut it off. He said, snip, snip, snip. So, right here in the next following panel, we see real head. So this is what Vegapunk's actual head would be like. Is like, just this massive, massive head. It looks like one of those balloons that are the hot air balloons. As I recall, I was almost as tall as a giant when I met you. That's very interesting wording. Very, very interesting wording. I heard rumors about it being big, but it was like an air... Oh, yeah, like an air balloon. Facts. Well, that's because I ate the burr. Is this my Gucci Mane? I ate the burr brain. Oh, yeah. Yo, who called it in last week's Afterthoughts? Somebody in last week's Afterthoughts said that this man Vegapunk ate the brain fruit, bro. In Japanese, he gets tongue-tied trying to say the fruit's name. Nomi, nomi, nomi. No, someone called it last week. Yo, shout out to the person who called that, dude. That's because I ate the brain fruit, and then his tongue gets tied. Yo, Vegapunk has his tongue out like he's Michael Jeffrey Jordan out here, man. He's just dunking on people. Pardon me, I bit my tongue. I meant to say I'm a brainy human because I ate the brain fruit. It allows me to memorize an unlimited amount of knowledge and makes my brain grow in size accordingly. Having an unlimited data bank is a handy ability for a born genius like me. So, you already have someone who's extremely intelligent. You have someone with the capabilities of recreating this technology from the past. But then he also eats this brain ability, which allows him unlimited amount of knowledge. And then we get to visually see it as his brain grows in size accordingly. That is wild to me, dude. And he calls it an unlimited data bank. I think all of us would love to have an unlimited data bank. I know I would for stories. What? For as much stuff as I put in here, man, I wish I could retain all that information. And you know what? Sometimes I don't. I'm not going to lie. Because I reread and I rewatch a lot of stuff. And sometimes on a reread, I forget things. If I remembered it, the experience wouldn't be as rich. So you know what? I scratched that. I don't want the brain fruit. I want it in certain parts, but not in all parts. No. So now I have the largest brain in the world, and it continues to grow. And he's hyped about this. I mean, he's like, yeah, I got the largest brain in the world, and ain't no one comes close. From what I'm seeing, my man's brain is so big, you can see it. You can see it hanging from his head. Still, did you put it somewhere? This man Luffy asked, did you put it somewhere? He's like, yo, I don't see the dang thing. Like, where'd you put it? Brother, I mean, you said you got the biggest brain, but I'm looking up into the sky, I don't see nothing. Where'd you put it? Oh, that's awesome. Have you got tons of medical knowledge too, Dr. Vegapunk? Naturally. Whoa! Now, I like this. This is one of the aspects of Thriller Bark that I really enjoyed in regards to Chopper, like, getting his opportunity to meet another doctor and how that dynamic played off of each other. It's, Thriller Bark, all of, like, the weak trio have, like, really, really nice moments, considering that they're dealing with individuals that like themselves. But in this regard, with Chopper, I'm glad, even though Dr. Vegapunk is a different type of doctor, to meet that individual is should be a really cool moment here for Chopper. Does that mean you're dumb now, old guy, because your brain not cut out? Don't write off a genius, you rascal. Luffy always asks the right questions, man. This man asks, does that mean you're dumb now? He's like, yo, are you stupid? Is that where your tongue's hanging? Like, yo, this man cut off, your brain got cut off, so I'm going to assume you're stupid. No, like, you lost all that energy. You lost all that experience, all that knowledge. See this apple here? It's an antenna. So that's what that thing was. Take a gander at the top of the island. Notice how it says Punk Records. Under the giant egg. That's the hangar where I keep my brain. Yo, it feels like every week something else that we were thinking about gets confirmed, but it gets confirmed in the silliest of ways. Before this arc started, we all thought Vegapunk would be somebody like an Aro Nieto. Or like Hector con Carne, like these types of characters that have like their brain inside of like this cryo tube, just like preserved for all of eternity, right? And here we most certainly see that he's accessing his brain based on the antenna that's on his head. And I'm going to assume that's the same way that he's able to, like how in Naruto with Pain, it was more like sending chakra over to the receptors within the body, within like the earrings and stuff of that nature. In this case, it's a literal antenna that's on the head. So that's just insane to me. That not only is that insane, I think that's really cool. The fact that his brain, the thing that is receiving all of this information, is at the very top of Egghead Island in Punk Records gear. I think that's actually a really, really cool way of handling that. So that's the hangar where I keep my brain. Could you imagine telling someone that? Like, yeah, that's the hangar, and you know that's where my brain is. That's where I keep my brain. Isn't that way too big? There's no harm in me being away from it since my antenna can pick up the brainwaves, and that's insane. That is genuinely insane. I love the small little showcase here of the island as well. It looks really cool. You met a little girl earlier who called herself Vegapunk, right? That's one of my clones. There are 6 on this island. You're a ninja? And I love how the first thing he goes to is like, yo, you did the shadow clone, dog? You went, Rook? Each one is a facet of myself and an expert of their own key field of study. And obviously the reason why he did that is because, being on limited time, he needed everyone to be an expert in their own way. So he's like, all right, you take care of this, you take care of this, you take care of this, and all of us will be able to efficiently create something like, who would not want to be able to do that? Especially from a creative standpoint, like just even here on YouTube, right? Wouldn't you love to have a person for the creativity, a person for the editing, a person for the sound editing, a person who can like be in charge of the camera, watch it, a person, all that stuff, right? Like, it would be extremely handy. Especially if they're all experts in their own fields. It's incredible. You get my full personality if you combine them, but they can get 6 times the work done apart, which is just wild to me. What the? And here we see all of them. So let's go ahead and get this. So after I read this line of dialogue, I want to read through all of them again. Each of them connects to Punk Records once a day to synchronize our memories and knowledge. Oh, so they like back up a save file and ensures that all of that is saved in Punk Records. That's crazy. Since their dispositions and responsibilities are so different, the wealth of their experience is that much greater. And so here we get to see their designs. York, Pythagoras, Lilith, Shaka, Edison, and Atlas. So I'm really interested in Shaka, man. Shaka's design, there's just something about the not only just the mask, but the just the entire like Daft Punk inspired nature of it is just really really cool. Lilith, obviously, since Lilith was the first one that was introduced, and being under the concept of evil, that to me fascinates me to no end. Considering, like, what would evil even be to someone who values the progression of mankind, right? So that fascinates me. Like, what is evil to Dr. Vegapunk, and that it's represented through an actual character? Like, that is crazy. So, and Luffy has question marks over her head, like, nah, what you talking about, son? What? Hey, he's just trying to process all this information. Like, what? Like, brother, you're speaking the language. Try to speak my language. You all share the same brain? I find it difficult to wrap my head around that. Nice pun, Jinbei. Hey, I gotta respect Jinbei for the pun, man. Listen to it. I gotta repeat this again, just because it's Jinbei cracking a pun. My man said, I find it difficult to wrap my head around it. You know, in Jinbei's mind, all the multiple Jinbeis in his head, they are just laughing. They're knee slapping like, yo, my boy had a banger. They're knee slapping, they're high fiving like, ah. They're going crazy. They're like, yo, this man Jinbei just dropped the joke of the year. Of the year, son. Dude, they gotta be hyping that man's brain off of that one. That's a bar. I find it difficult to wrap my head around that. Like, yo, Jinbei, man, relax. Relax. Just think of it as sharing the same library. That's an interesting way of looking at it, actually. If only I could let everyone in the world connect to my brain. Wouldn't that be something? All of humanity would have access to my knowledge. Then, if the population of the world went on to update punk records themselves, so he's trying to say that, like, if we could all access this database and then put our own personal experiences there, while simultaneously being able to back up our experiences for the day into that one network, we would all be able to access and have the same amount of knowledge. And, you know, in theory, that sounds something that is extremely exciting, but at the same time, that's very overwhelming. That is very, very overwhelming. So I look forward to seeing how Oda handles that, because that in and of itself, I mean, it's extremely ambitious, but it just would not work. It would not work. It'd create a sea of information that surpassed what my brain can accomplish alone. And you see, that's Vegapunk's like main driving force in life right now, is to ensure that his legacy gets passed on, right? Like that he knows how much time he has left, and he hopes that this knowledge, these things that he is not only has already done, in the middle of doing, but in the future will do, will carry on to other individuals, which is why he's so obsessed with this. And I think that's very interesting. Humanity would share one mind. I mean, he's literally out here just trying to do a Neon Genesis Evangelion. So I'd be able to study medicine from all over the world? Naturally. And, you know, Chopper loves this idea. I wonder how Luffy's going to respond to this, actually. Woo! This man Chopper is hyped. He's like, yo, I don't have to go to medical school? I don't got to pay the bills? Chopper's hype, man. But if you let everyone share their conflicting ideologies, wouldn't all that bias lead to trouble? And Jinbei, once again, being the voice of reason here, you sure are a sharp one, Knight of the Sea. But science would never progress if you spent all day worrying about stuff like that. So, of course, he's putting his own... And this is something that I love about One Piece just in general, is that One Piece acknowledges the consequences of ambition, right? Like, there's so many consequences to ambition. There's a lot of sacrifices that need to be made if you want to be great at something, right? If you want to achieve a certain amount of success. And a lot of that is going to, you know, in another person's eyes, they're going to be like, yo, your sense of morality is completely on the other side. But in Vegapunk's eyes, it's like, yo, to me, it's not even a question. If it is for science, if it is for the progression of mankind, I would do it in a heartbeat. Screw the repercussions. I'll deal with the consequences later. And I find that to be so cool. The fact that we're also exploring that with Vegapunk. That's your problem, Vegapunk. Is that Bonnie? Rocking the Buzz Lightyear lightsaber? That's your problem, Vegapunk. You shrug off sacrifices in the name of progress. That's why Dad's been turned into a heartless weapon. And, you know, she pulls out the lightsaber. Yeah, we're about to see Luke Skywalker in this mug. Stop it, Bonnie. That beam saber is defective. Yo, and this man almost gets stabbed. Give it a rest. I know it cuts full enough. I tested it earlier. Turn my dad back to normal. Okay, Bonnie. Do your thing. If you even think about saying no, don't be hasty, Bonnie. Killing him would make you a lot of enemies. Now, is that Jinbei? Jinbei once again trying to be the voice of reason. Hit the off switch, Bonnie, for the love of God! That beam attracts a ludicrous number of bugs! So we see a bunch of bugs heading. I'm going to assume Bonnie's about to just run away at the speed of light, considering, oh my, there's a fleet. There's a swarm of bugs, dude. There's a rhinoceros beetle. There's all types. Yeah! Yo, you got the whole Bugs Life crew coming in, dude. Holy flagnards. Yo! All of Bugs Life is coming in. Yeah! Check it out, Bonnie. Yo, Bonnie got knocked out by the Bugs Conquerors Hockey. And Luffy's just over her body, smacking her in the head, talking to himself, hey, yo, check this out, dog! It's a giant stag beetle! That's why I love Luffy, man. The man values fun over everything, bro. That's my goat. That's my goat. Chopper's like, yo, this isn't the time for beetles. She fainted. She's like a Pokemon right now. Dog, she's on the floor. Oh, that makes perfect sense. Yo, the goat with the coat, man. Seriously. A giant stag beetle. Every time I think of a stag beetle, I always think of that one chapter from Gintama. Just, crazy stuff. Of course, Bonnie wants me dead. It's ironic that one of my failures saved me. It's ironic that one of my failures saved me. Is he referring to Kuma? Of course, Bonnie wants me dead. It's ironic that one of my failures saved me. Or is he talking about the bugs? No, he's talking about the bugs. Okay, I thought he was talking about Kuma for a second. No, because the beam saber was defective. So because the beam saber is defective, it of course caused the swarm of bugs to come in and save him. Okay, I thought it was referring to Kuma there for a second. I was like, whoa. Speaking of what, you guys were recently in Wano, correct? Yes, sir! Wano Kunida! Real shonen. Real shonen! You wouldn't happen to know whether... Forgive me. You wouldn't happen to know whether a dragon just like Kaido really appeared there. Oh, snap, he's asking about Momonosuke. Oh, you're talking about Momo. I suppose he ate the defective fruit I left on Punk Hazard. We're even getting this information right now. I thought this would come up later on in the arc. Defective? What do you mean? That was an artificial dough fruit I synthesized. I made it after 20 years of researching Kaido's lineage factor. 20 years of researching Kaido's lineage factor? Could you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, imagine 20 years of your lifetime, you are spent researching this specific thing, and it leads to a failure. What he believes is a failure, he in his mind, he's like, wait a minute. This is a defective artificial fruit I spent 20 years attempting to create. Of course, this wasn't the only thing he was creating those 20 years. But it was one of the things that it took 20 years of planning, 20 years of process. A 20-year process. And at the very end, in his mind, it was a failure. How do you think he's going to feel whenever he finds out that Momonosuke is actually a success? Oh, I hope Luffy tells the man, bro. I made it after 20 years of researching Kaido's lineage factor. It cost countless resources. But I couldn't get it quite right. Oh, so that's why he was the same as Kaido, but it worked out just fine. He can still spit fire, and he's still super strong. He's the guardian deity of Wano now. I love that wording, dude. The guardian deity of Wano. You really made that? Awesome! And his color? Pink. And he hits the ground like, no! A failure! He's like, dang it all! He's like, man, he should have been blue! If it was me, I would have been blue. My boy's like, no, it's a failure, man. You see? Another monumental failure. So, based off of this, we can infer that this man is a perfectionist to the absolute highest. If it is not a carbon one-for-one exactly what's in his mind, it is a failure. Momonosuke could spit fire, create blast breaths, turn into a dragon, but if the color is not blue, son, it is a failure. And so right then and there, you get to see that this man is a perfectionist. And that's obviously something that we could infer before, but this just confirms it. He's like, yo, this man Luffy read everything. Spitting fire, super strong, chilling in Wano, doing his thing. He's like, oh, he's pink. Oh, well, I failed. What's wrong with that? I get it. He's a genius and I should just kept my mouth shut. Jinbei said it for me. He's a genius and a perfectionist. What about this robot? Oh, here we go. You made it too right, old man? Make it move. I'm afraid you're mistaken. This is the legendary Iron Giant that attacked the holy land of Marijoa about... Somebody attacked the holy land! Yo, this man said, I don't know who this person is, but they're automatically raw. Anyone who attacks the Mighty Jaw is raw. Dog, do you know what it is to bypass everything in the Mighty Jaw and want nothing but hands but smoke in the Holy Land? I don't know who this Iron Giant is, but they have my seal of approval. Oh, they speak the universal language, son. That's awesome Juha Bach stuff, yo. Pull it up! Yo! Now the Mighty Jaw shall know pain. Wait a minute. I gotta see that, dude. I would love a flashback on that. Are you kidding? This legendary Iron Giant that attacked the Holy Land of Mighty Jaw about 200 years ago. 200 years ago? Yes, but it was built over 900 years ago. This thing was moving for 700 years? Or is it something that it's been like well, if it's made of metal and maybe its brain was kept intact for a very long time, I could see how it lived for about 700 years. But there could be multiple different things to this, right? Like this thing attacked the Mighty Jaw 200 years ago, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it was alive for 700 years. It could have been like, because we don't know. I don't know. That is very strange to me. Regardless, it was built over 900 years ago, but it attacked the Holy Land 200 years ago. What in all of the Flagnarts would attack the Holy... Why? That actually really fascinates me, man. What? No way. Its objective remains unknown. We actually get to see it! Yo, it is towering over the Holy Land, son! I heard it ran out of power before it could cause any No, it ran out of power. It ran out of power before it could cause any casualties. Either way, I'm sure the scientists at the time were absolutely flabbergasted. Such advanced technology would have seemed totally alien to them. Seriously, y'all! Imagine living in like the I don't know, man, like the 1200s, 1300s, even at like 100 years ago, 1900s, right? Go back to the early 1900s, or even like the late 1800s, and you bring a giant robot, or I come out there with a cell phone, son, I'm being put on the stake. Like, what type of sorcery is this? And it's the same thing they went through. They were looking up into the sky. They were like, yo, what is that, a Titan? They're like, son, what are we dealing with? And they probably, I'm going to assume, they probably thought it was like divine retribution or something. Because if they have no knowledge of advanced technology, no knowledge of cyborgs, robots, they're looking at that thing with question marks all over, son. And the fact that it stopped moving must have shook them. Like, oh, were we saved? It's like, were we saved, son? That is so interesting. See, this is the type of stuff that I really want to know in regards to the advanced civilization, right? And in the past. Excuse me. I'm going to read this again. Either way, I'm sure the scientists at the time were absolutely flabbergasted. Such advanced technology would have seemed totally alien to them. None of them could tell where it came from or what it was trying to do, so they don't know who sent it on this mission. They don't know if the mission was sent off 900 years ago, similar to Toki, even though Toki was 800 years ago. But they don't know if the mission was sent off similar to Toki, where it was this mission that would continue on forever. As a matter of fact, if that is true, and that mission was given off 900 years ago, That is going to be multiple different things from the ancient civilization that that have missions that have taken 800 years. Zunisha, obviously the prophecy of the modern day, Toki, and now this giant. But it's like, if it wasn't something that was operated into them 900 years ago, then someone must have given the order to attack the Holy Land. And who do we know from 200 years ago that would attack the Holy Land? None of them could tell where it came from or what it was trying to do. It seems the world government ordered its destruction, but the scientists of the time couldn't help their curiosity. How could they not, dog? It's why they hid it here to be passed down without the government's knowledge. So they hid it here on Egghead Island. Good job on finding this place from the town. The entrance should look like a wall. Wait. Good job on finding this place from the town. The entrance should look like a wall. So he's referring to a couple chapters ago. We just stumbled here since we are all old and senile. Oh yeah, that's right. They were all old and senile. Yeah, we were playing Old Lost. And it just goes back into that classic One Piece adventure aspect of, like, they weren't looking for this thing. They just happened to find it. Oh, that's a shame. 200 years ago, that's around the time the Fishman rights movement started to gain ground. So you're saying that robot climbed... Oh. Yo. He legitimately jumped up there like the colossal titan, son. Hopping, climbing up the red line. Do you know how scary that sounds? So around that time period, multiple different things were happening, right? 200 years ago, it's around the time the Fishman rights movement started to gain ground. Around the same time period, the robot climbed the red line. They're looking at this television, which goes to show what we're seeing here from in like Luffy and Vegapunk and them. Most likely, I created Vega Force #1 based on what I learned from it. But I lack this... Nami, you see the fresh cut? Dog, Robin, you see the fresh cut? Yo, I'm out here. Hey, forget about the mustache. Vegapunk and I, we have no relation. But, I got the fresh cut, though. I got the fresh cut. But I like the scientific prowess to reverse engineer every aspect of it. It's difficult to believe this mechanized soldier was made over 900 years ago. So he lacked the scientific prowess to reverse engineer every aspect of it. And, he can't believe it was made 100 years ago. Like, who built the thing? There's something even you couldn't recreate? That's what I'm saying, Frankie. It's power source. Oh, no. Bro, was it Recon? Recon, were you the one who brought up the cube from Transformers? Saying how we could potentially run into a situation with the cube, like how the cube from Transformers was in that series, where you would need to have something like that in current time in order to activate some of these ancient... Oh my god. So does that mean that Instant Messenger Sama has access to that cube, that power source? In the past, they had a power source that would upend our modern ideas of what's possible. That is insane. So they discovered something that, to us, here in modern time One Piece, could do things that just... It would seem as if it was impossible, and it would make it possible because of this power source. Yo, that legitimately does sound like Transformers. Well, at any rate, it's good to know Luffy and the others are okay. Who's that girl, though? That's Jewelry Bonnie. She's a pirate. I thought the one we saw before was a little girl. And they have no idea that this is the same individual that was with them in Sabaody that Zoro had to flex in order to save back there. And the way Vegapunk's head works is crazy. I truly did a terrible thing to Bonnie. Yeah, you should get down and beg for her to forgive you, old man. Luffy's an idiot. You young dolt, like you know anything about it. There's something I have to give her. So Vegapunk has something that he needs to give Jewelry Bonnie. I'm going to assume it has to do with Kuma, right? But regardless, I feel like fate brought you here today, Straw Hat Luffy. Please, can you take me away from Egghead? By all means! By all means! Dog! I'd dap him up in a second. Dude, that has to be the rarest max contract in the history of the verse. My boy said, I'm a free agent. Who's signing me? I'm giving the first contract to Monkey D. Yo, Luffy, man. Yo, we already dropped the ball once this year. We can't drop it again. It wasn't your fault, though. It was her fault. You know what I mean? It wasn't your fault. Please, can you take me away from Egghead? This is Cipher Pol to you. Yo, we can't just go from this man Vegapunk wanting to get on the Sunny to Robert D, son. We're requesting entry to Egghead Port. What poorly trained pets. And they get smoked. Is that Edison? Look at Robert D. And they're rocking their masks! Reports indicate the jewelry Bonnie was spotted making her way here too. That pest keeps slipping away from us. She served her purpose. Let's just turn... Bonnie too? They're just coming to kill everyone. Reports indicate the jewelry Bonnie was spotted making her way here too. That pest keeps slipping... And this is Robert D saying this. That pest keeps slipping away from us. She served her purpose. Let's just terminate her on sight. This man Kaku? Wearing one of those fake beards? Hey, Kaku, I mess with the design, man. I do. No joke, son, I do. Robert D, of course, looking the rawest. Stussy, I have no idea what you're going for here, but okay. You know what I mean? Okay. Okay. Shaka, there's a government ship. It'd be bad if they found us harboring pirates. What does CP0 want with us, and why did they bring Rob Lucci? I say we just hand this riffraff over. After all, that Lucci fellow's an assassin, right? Yeah, Lilith is like, F it, I ain't trying to take no parts of that. What, Rob Lucci? And Usopp. Usopp's remembering the Lucci from back then that took Luffy all the way to his limits. Nah, Lucci could pull up right now. Luffy's using Conqueror's Haki on that man. We're like, I'm just playing. Lucci's definitely gotten stronger too, no question. But, if he pulls up, I don't know, man. He might get smoked. Hey, hurry up and give us our legs back. So, no, that guy's still around. You can't let them in. Don't you worry, Robin-chan. Oh, I love how Sanji immediately goes to reaffirm to Robin. That cat ain't doing nothing with you this time, son. I'm sending that thing back. Back all the way to Marujoa, back all the way to Eddie's lobby, wherever in the Flying Flag Nards. It started this course from. That's exactly where it's going. You don't gotta worry about that, dog. I'll take care of you. That's super dope. I'll protect you no matter how many times he comes back. No question. Yo, Sanji, you let her know. You let her know. And I love how both Robin and Frankie are seeing this because they were the ones, of course, who were in the most dire situation back then. Of course, Usopp with the Sogeking stuff. But tell him to hand over the Seraphim and tell them to what? Tell them to hand over the Seraphim and leave. We're declining the request to talk. Shaka said, yo, we're declining that mug. Hand over Kuma and get out of there. So that's confirmation that Kuma is in fact Kuma Seraphim. I doubt agents of the world government will respond well to that, so prepare for battle. Let's get it. I'm ready. I'm ready to see some hands. Kambaka Quinku. Wait. Hold on, bro. I gotta get up. I gotta stand. Hold up. Wait. Hold on. Whoa. Hold up. This man Oda cut away. Kawabaka Kingdom Grand Line Dragon Son. Oh, Dragon Son. Kuma-san's acting weird. Kuma-san, wait. We're trying to... Kuma's heading out? Kuma-san, wait. We're trying to repair you. Kuma-san? What's wrong? Is he still being controlled by the Navy? Kuma-san, where are you going? No, you're in no state to be moving like that. You're still not yourself. Kuma hits the ground. What's with him? I don't know. No, bro, he's trying his absolute hardest. Look at all this metal attached to his chest. He looks like one of those Marvel characters that have like all this wiring to him, and then they try to escape the lab. Kuma-san, come back! And he keeps hitting the ground, bro. That kind of gets me a little bit emotional, bro. Like, Kuma's trying his hardest. He's going so far as, like, he's feeling within his psyche that something's in danger, whether it be Vegapunk or whether it be, Bonnie, whatever it is. Talk to us, Kuma Dragon. It's fucking... Where's my Santa hat, bro? It's fucking flipping me, Dragon, bro. Listen! Mike, talk to us! Talk to me! Where do you want to go so bad? Stay with us. We are not fighting. The Revolutionary Army is just getting started. A mad dash to where? Break next week. Oh, man, bro. If they actually pull up, yo. Listen, bro. There's two scenarios that can be made of this. Either Dragon actually successfully makes it. The Revolutionary Army makes it to Egghead. Or they get cut off on the way. Either way, the Revolutionary Army is about to be on the move. This chapter, at the end of this chapter, indicates to us that after this chapter, the Revolutionary Army is going to be on the move. Yo, we're coming back from Turkey Week, man. Next week, Turkey Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And we're gonna come back from that to Rob Lucci and the squad pulling up. Oh, man. Potential Revolutionary Army greatness, Vegapunk. Dude, I'm not even gonna front, man. Egghead Island is gonna end up being one of those, man. This is nuts, dude. This is nuts, y'all. We're looking at the strongest first volume, barring like potentially Water 7 or Dressrosa, to an arc. This is stacked, dude. Every chapter, son. Kuma. Like, bro, what is happening with Kuma? Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. That got me mad emotional seeing Kuma do that because we know that so it's like there's a piece in there. There's a piece of the humanity, and you already know. Dude, stories like that hit me so hard, man. So Kuma pulling up. Dude, where do I even begin after this chapter? Like, seriously, where do I even begin after such a chapter, bro? Oh, man, dude. Oh, Dragon, bro. Dragon 2 chapters in a row. Dude, the final saga moves different, y'all. I don't know, man. I got 2 Shanks chapters back to back. I got like 4 Blackbeard chapters. And I got 2 Dragon chapters back to back. I got like 5 Dragon chapters in the stretch. Zehahaha Blackbeard comes in with a 499 and says Straw Hat Revolutionary Army link up on the way. It's the intention for me, Zehaha, because this is my thing. Not only is it the amount of time that it's going to take to get to Egghead Island, it's also the potential interception of someone else also being there on the way too. So we don't know if Dragon and them are even going to make it to Egghead Island. It's the intention for me. Are they going to make it too late? And now we're going to have this looming in the background where Kuma, Dragon, and the rest of the Revs are going to be en route to heading to Egghead Island to help out Kuma here, and of course Dragon's friend with Vegapunk. But we don't know if they're actually going to make it on time. Now there's going to be like this time limit in the background that's kind of reversed to the normal, right? Because normally you would have like a time limit in the background for like something taking place within the arc itself. Now this puts up a different type of time limit where it's like, oh my god, if we continue to stay on Egghead, if anybody stays on Egghead, they're going to meet up with Dragon. So depending on how long the events here take place, either this is the arc where Luffy and Dragon finally meet, or Dragon's going to arrive to the aftermath of Egghead Island, which might actually be scarier for the overall plot of the story, because if, let's just say something very bad happens to Egghead Island, and they're there to witness the, oh my goodness, bro, this will be just like flipping Sabaody. Because in Sabaody, at the end of the arc, it was a revolutionary who caused the rest of that arc to go in the way that it did. So, Dragon and them popping up there at the end, they would probably be so mad if things were to like happen in a negative type of way in Egghead Island, to where it would cause them to act immediately after that. So whatever happens, it's going to be exciting because either Dragon makes it there on time, we get Straw Revolutionary Army meetup, and they go absolutely insane together. We finally get the Dragon and Luffy meeting, which would be so peak. But even if they don't make it, if they don't make it on time, we're going to have to deal with that. And then you already know that they're going to see the aftermath of what they attempted to do to Vegapunk, and that's really going to light a fire instead of Dragon that is already there with Sabo and stuff. So it's like, man, this could potentially be the catalyst that takes us Dragon, Akainu, Dragon Instant Messenger Sama. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is exciting. This is exciting, y'all. This is exciting stuff, bro. I love what I'm seeing, man. Oh, man. Eric Terlato, my boy of the Red Force. A fellow member of the Akagami no Shangsu community. He says, brother, Eternal Flame, Infinite Powers, though, is the one piece and the centerpiece of the Ancient Kingdom conflict that got ideas. That is fascinating. So, the power source that held all of that together is the One Piece. That's so interesting, Eric. And I love how you came up with that coming off of this chapter, which we already know this power source is going to be very, very important to the overall series. So the centerpiece of the Ancient Kingdom, which also holds everything together in one piece, that's Eric. Eric, you might be cooking with that one, dude. Real talk, man. I like that. Eternal Flame, Infinite Power. The cube from Transformers. That's fascinating, Eric, man. Thank you for the 5, my brother. I appreciate you. Thank you, Zehahaha, for the 5 as well, man. I appreciate you. Bar M comes in and says, Fishman went to Reverie for the first time 200 years ago. That's what it was. So the Fishmen going and starting that movement 200 years ago around the same time as the as when this giant started moving. This legendary Iron Giant thing has me so shook, dude. That is insane. You're absolutely right. The Fishmen going to the Reverie for the first time 200 years ago. That's for sure. That's no doubt. Starting that movement, while simultaneously at the same time. Wait a minute, dude. because that could be linked. That could have been an event that also put a pause to in a similar way of what happened with Otohime. Because let's just say 200 years ago, they were attempting to start the movement. And this Iron Giant, the blame was placed on the Fishman. Could you imagine that? Because then this legendary Iron Giant, it loses power. Because they cannot get to the source of it, they're like, wait a minute, this thing belonged to the Fishman. And like, no, now since it belongs to the Fishman, now you bring the people to your side. That are actually going to believe you in this this message of propaganda, where they're like, it was the Fishman who actually led the Iron Giant up here, tried to attack y'all while we were there having that meeting. That could most certainly be the case as well, because then that would lead to the reason why it's taken this long, right? Where it was just backsit after backsit after backsit after backsit before the Fishman, where something something happened to stop it from taking place. Until when I'm going to assume at the end of the series, right, where we're going to see probably the way that it was back then in the Ancient Kingdom, of like where all of the entire sea, from the people in the sky to the blue sea individuals and the people under the sea, were all like together and as like one in one world. So that just fascinates me to no end. Fascinates me to no end. Oh, man. Yo, but thank you so much, Bar M, for the 2, man. I appreciate y'all. Yo, Eric, man, that is a very, very interesting comment, bro. For like that being the centerpiece that holds everything together, that being the one piece. That fascinates me. But so let me talk about 2 comments here. The first one I see here is from my boy Presno. Shout out to Presno. It says, chances of Kuma's mind stored in the Punk records. So, before I answer that question, Vegapunk is essentially trying to create the internet here, right? He's essentially trying to create this source where everyone can link their ideas and stuff of that nature. So he's trying to create like this one-piece version of the internet that just connects everyone's different ideas and experiences, right? So he's trying to create that. So if there's a backup save file of Kuma's memories within that thing, he would be able to implant that into his head. So, oh man. But what I find so fascinating about this is going to be the dichotomy between human Vegapunk and human Kuma and cyborg Kuma, because we see that he is ripping himself apart right now because of his human side, right? So I could actually see that happening, Fresno. I could actually see that happening, like 100%. Yeah. Now that you bring that up, that actually, like, I could definitely see that, dude. Imagine Kuma slaps you. I gotta go peg leg for a sec. I forgot about his fruit. Oh. Yo, Burton Jean is spitting facts. Oh, yo, that's facts. Kuma could slap all... Dude, because it slipped my mind because I was looking at a cyborg Kuma, right? But if he's genuinely able to slap into Egghead, oh no! Dude, we're in for some craziness. Oh, I'm sweating, man. I am, dude. I am. Mark Haley says 200 years ago, the same event was Fishman Island joined the world government 620. Yeah, precisely. That definitely looks to be the case. With which is why that author's note or the translator's note by TCB said like this could be referencing chapter 620. So it most certainly could be the case, honestly. I feel like doing a reread of Fishman Island. Pluto, at this point, I'm right there with you, dude. I'm right there with you. Especially what we're seeing right now. And Fishman Island is going to continue to get more important, right? Because this was the first arc. Coming after the time skip, this is of course Oda. Oda within like that saga introduced so many things that would become very, very key. Very, very key for endgame One Piece. So there's probably a lot there that we're going to continue to dissect down the line. That we're going to look back on and be like flagnards, Kuma.exe stored in Punk Records. That's facts. Jack me off. That's facts. That is true, M-Sphere, in regards to the delays. But, like we said, it also depends on the amount of time in which they're going to be there. Obviously, they're probably not going to be there for the Rob Lucci stuff. But if they're there for the aftermath, or like I said, if they make it there too late, then that could also work as well. Real Kuma is an MMO right now. He's all about the isekai life. Facts, Buggy. He's just up there in an MMO. He's living the life right now, man. The real Kuma is up there leveling up, getting ready for a boss battle. Wow, dude. Yeah, so Lazy Mofos brings up a great point right here, where he says, what's really crazy that we have said, with everything we've seen, we still haven't seen Vivi. And I'm really curious as to how Vivi's going to be reintroduced into the story now, considering all the stuff that is happening around the world. And Jesus is the same thing of like, well, I wonder where Vivi is. And that's such an interesting discussion point, right, for, like, not only where is Vivi, but, like, how is she going to be reintroduced, especially after the instant messenger Sama picture thing? That's for sure, Jesus. Jesus says Scarpia and Fishman Island, the arcs, they keep getting more important as time goes on. Facts. I don't think so, Jack Me Off. So, Jack Me Off says, what if the Noah was an airship made by the ancient kingdom and can fly? I think the Noah was always based to be on water, right? Like, I believe Oda is basing that off of the biblical Noah, most likely. A long time ago in the One Piece verse, there was this massive, like, flood. And the individuals, like the reason why it's in the bottom of the ocean is because after it served its purpose, or maybe it like went down or whatever, and it's been down there ever since, waiting for the next person to come in and use that thing. But in the opposite of that, I do believe Pluton/Uranus. Pluton is going to be the one for the seas, so that's probably just like a regular like battleship, warship. But Uranus more than likely is that airship, even though it's probably going to be much different, like we talked about a UFO, or just something that just controls the air, right? Like this thing that controls the skies. If that's the case, then it's going to be in that airship type of thing. But if you're right, and Noah is like the Arc Maxim, because the Arc Maxim was an airship that was powered by electricity, then I'll be like, flagnards, because we've already seen that's possible with the Arc Maxim. But if with that power source they're talking about in this chapter, how many things could be turned into that? Because they said it could defy all possibilities. So with that power sport, with the all spark, right? How much did that ever be possible? Yo, Afterglow, facts, man. And that scene in Trails is so it's so emotional, but definitely like Luffy did give big ass Stell vibes with a stag beetle. Honestly, there's been a lot of parallels between Luffy and Estelle lately, with the Nika thing, both being the sun, and it's just they're very similar. And somebody, please make a One Piece X Trails coloring or drawing or something for the boy. You know what I mean? Someday. But definitely, Emu is using VV Vortex at this point. I mean, I feel like he's gonna try to use VV, but I'm not sure if he's gonna be successful. Yeah, facts, Snoop. Like the fact that the only flaw with Momofuru was the color. That's crazy. Yo, Bato Balu comes in, the dog, the homie. Membership for 8 months. I appreciate you, dog. And says, can we get much higher than Vegapunk's head? No one can. The man's brain is so big that he created the internet with his brain. I've never seen such things in my entire existence. He created the internet in One Piece. He created this collective consciousness, this library within Punk Records with his brain. I don't think anything can get much higher than that. You know what I mean? That's just crazy. But I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Syndratic says, page 12, one of the sea beasts being controlled by Vegapunk was like Captain Kidd. For real? Hold on. Yeah. Page 12? Dragon, man. Monkey D. I'm looking forward to seeing what Vegapunk is going to give Bonnie here in the coming chapters. You said page 12? Hold on, I gotta change it from which panel was it again? One of the sea beasts. That's the Rob Lucci panel, right? Oh yeah, you're right. Does have that Captain Kidd energy. That's facts. That is definitely factual. I see it. That's probably just due to aesthetic, but I think it just looks really cool. Yeah, it does have that Kid aesthetic for sure. That's super cool. Oh, that's interesting. So Praetorus says if the Iron Giant inspired Fisher Tiger, it must have went there to save Poseidon's bloodline at the Reverie. Like, so it was activated. Oh. Similarly to the way in which the... Oh, I understand. So this chapter might have given us insight into the way that it works. So let's just say someone controlled the Iron Giant in the same way that Vegapunk is currently controlling his 6 Vegapunks with his antenna. Shirahoshi does the same thing. Poseidon does the same thing with the Sea Kings. Being able to communicate and command at will. So must have went there to save Poseidon's blood at the river. Maybe it's a guardian for the ancient weapons. That is fascinating, Praetorus. I think that's actually a really cool theory. There could be one underwater at Wano, which is why we didn't explore that. Okay. You're cooking. That's interesting. That is very, very interesting, Praetorus. It'd be so crazy if Zoro and Brook took on the whole CP9 crew by themselves in the port. Missed, I'm down for that, man. That'd be hype for those two. That'd be fantastic. You think the December episode staff could have Megumi Shitani? I mean, it depends if they're gonna have like the episode 1022 or 1023 be one of those episodes. Then I could definitely see it happening. But I guess we'll just have to see scheduling wise, right? Because I know that she did the Where the Wind Blows animation, so I'm not sure how much time that took up for her and how it like conflicted with the scheduling for the anime and stuff. So Recon, Similarly, Eric just recently put something too. So I'm gonna read Recon's comment here, and we can combine his and Eric's thing, where it says, "Bro, I'm in a work meeting right now. I feel you, dude. Yesterday, man, it was nothing but meetings. But here's my idea. The One Piece is a core, like the all-spark that gives life to all things. Giorno Giovanna? In this case, power is life to technology, but also life to devil fruits." That is fascinating. So, if that is the case, definition-wise, I could see why it's called the One Piece, right? It's something that connects all life in the verse, right? It's something that connects so many different things and allows it to move and work in the ways in which they do. It also would, if this is the power source, it would also lead to how Roger and them, when they were reading Joy Boy's experiences, the reason why they just couldn't believe what they were hearing, because they were looking at that power source, they probably didn't know what in the flying Flatirons it was. They were like, what do I do with this? Like, this thing is insane. And then they look down at the story, and they're hearing about the Jetsons and Futurama, and they're like, well, like, what are we going to do here? No wonder they laughed. You feel me? So, yeah, that is interesting. You guys are bringing up great points there. So, Kyle Alexis says, Vivi is probably at Elbaf. If another addition to Elbaf? Oh, man, Elbaf is about to be the one. Elbaf is about to be the one. Pluto says, I also agree with you that the Alabasta arc holds more and more secrets. The thing is, Pluto, right, when it comes to Alabasta, Jaya, and Skypiea, that was the point in which Oda was starting to introduce endgame concepts within the series itself. Hey, Jesus, man, have a great night, my brother. I appreciate you, man. Yo, that Gote 13 color spread, goated. But have a good night. Have a great day at work, yo. I appreciate you for stopping by. But Pluto, yeah, with like Alabasta, Jaya, Skypiea, that was within the series where Oda started establishing all these endgame concepts. That's why those arcs are always like referenced, right? Like, this is the first time we heard about ancient weapons. The first time we saw Shichibukai actually doing his thing. The first time we heard about the Void Sentry, about poneglyphs, about the Gorosei and Blackbeard and the Celestial Dragons with Doflamingo. And it's like, man, it's so many endgame concepts were introduced there that you just have to believe that at that point in time, Oda had so many things in his notes that he's still using to this day, right? And even if they weren't fully explored in his notes, the idea started being formed at that point in time. And then it's insane to me. Yo, King Benny Boy, if that's the case, we get a Zoro Brook team up at the dock, that would be so fire, man. It's so fire. But I agree, man. Great chapter. Peak chapter. Niall, my goodest of good brothers. It is so good to see you, bro. It has been a while, man. Seriously. I hope you're doing good, brother. What a chapter about Tuvalu, man. Seriously, what a chapter. Vegapunk versus Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone doesn't want anything of my goat, bro. And I'm not caught up with Dr. Stone, so I'm not sure what they're doing over there. But dude, Vegapunk's brain created the internet. Dude, listen to me. Vegapunk, at this point in time, created something that even above all the other insane things he's created. The man has reached a point where he split his brain into 6. They're all fully functioning human beings. 6 individuals that are fully functioning human beings. And then on top of all that, he also has enough memory space left to have an entire library in punk records. I've never seen such a thing. That is insane. Yeah, Angelo, that's facts. Angelo says, Vegapunk connecting to misinformation era and over-surveillance is super relevant. Facts. Definite facts. Mark Healy says, if I'm not mistaken, those will be the first time we see Stussy fight. That's true. I wonder who Stussy's going to fight. Just to see Stussy go like, Soru! And you know, every single CP0 agent has a Shigon! Yeah, Tekai! You know what I mean? So, we'll see how nasty Stussy is. Still want to see the Emerald City. Pluto, you know, there are a few theories that we've already seen the Emerald City with like the green bit stuff and whatnot. But if you're right, and the Emerald City is something that we still have to explore, I want to see it too, considering that it was something brought up so early on in this series. Oh, if that's the case, Jaskaran, then I'm down. I'm looking forward to Ishitani's next project. M-Sphere says, King, here's my theory. The Iron Giant was piloted by the last set of Lunarians, because they're the only race that has any power related to the Eternal Flame. That fascinates me. Okay, so the Eternal Flame of the Lunarians that is able to work as a power source to lead that... Oh, man, so does that mean that, let's just say, King's ancestors, that there was some sort of rebellion there? Because then that would mean at the same exact time, because once again, everything has to be representative, a parallel to what potentially happened in the ancient, in the past, right? So if Lunarians came down, so at the same time as the fishmen coming in to make their point about what they should do to move forward with the planet, it representing, of course, under the sea, if coming from the sky, the Lunarians came in and saying, screw all of that, we're coming up in and we're going to take this into our own accounts. And Lunarians, during that Reverie event, were like, no, let's go. I'm taking this legendary Iron Giant with me and we're going up in like Swimwear. And it just happened to run out of power. So if it ran out of power, and you're right, it is Lunarian, that would mean the Lunarian must have had to die. Either the Lunarian died or had to put its power source elsewhere, or it was only temporary, where let's just say he thought it was an eternal flame that will last forever, but then like he was just like on the thing, he's like, no, you have to keep going, and the flames were not powering the machine enough, because that machine can only be powered up by the Allspark or whatever it is. So I could see that actually, M-Sphere. I really could. I really could. Vegapunk is saying that's facts. Mabruk. That's also interesting. So, Mabruk says, what if the reason the Iron Giant attacked Marijoa? Because it sensed its creator being in danger. Just like what's happening with Kuma right now, assuming the creator survived the attack. You're right there. In the Ancient Kingdom. So, similar to Kuma, it heads off on its own to go in because it senses that the creator is in danger. That is so fascinating, Mabruk. And once again, another parallel between Kuma and the legendary Iron Giant. Which then that would beg the question: is that what Vegapunk was trying to do? Was trying to create another version of that, like another version of that Iron Giant with Kuma? Yo, Shaw the Dank, what's good, yo? Sanji versus Gucci to show their strength from the Straw Hats and redemption from the Virgo fight. I would love that. And Long Nose versus Long Nose. Yes! Dude, please! Usopp versus Kaku, man. And we need the jokes again. Like, I want Luffy to be like, there's 2 Usopps? No, bro, no. What would be perfect is if Luffy goes to Usopp and he's like, you can clone yourself too? He's gonna look at Vegapunk. He's like, dude, Usopp can do it too! He's gonna look at Chopper. He's like, Chopper! Usopp can clone himself too! That would be hilarious. Oh, please. And then Stussy, of course, let me see. And then for what he did to the Going Mirror back in Water 7 is something I wanted for a while. I would love that Share the Dank, man. I'm rocking with that idea, dude. Sanji versus Robert D. And then of course the Long Nose versus Long Nose. I love that's perfect. That is perfect, dude. Lore piece. Lore piece to the max, Lamain-san. Can you imagine if the Iron Giant is powered by Cola? Wow. Frankie gets it running, and that's how the straws pull up to Marijoa. If that's how the straws pull up to Marijoa is back on that giant, oh, dude, that's an instant peak 10 out of 10 chapter right there. And especially if it's powered by Cola? You know, awesome that'd be. Like, Frankie's just like, hey, you know something? It probably can be powered by mankind's greatest weapon. Cola. He just puts that thing on there. It's like, yo, we're skyrocketing this thing all the way up to the moon. He does a Kude burst with the Iron Giant. That'd be insane. Is it theory that Ishitani directs every 22 chapters? Yeah, for sure. That most certainly is. 978, 1000, and 1022, 1044, 1066. And if that is true, you're absolutely right. You couldn't ask for anything better, you know. And 1022 was a very Ishitani type of chapter. 1044, like chapter 1000, very Ishitani type of chapter. And obviously, seeing what was done with chapter 1000, I can't even imagine what she would do with 1044 and then 1066 last week. 100%. 100%. So if that is the case, couldn't ask for anything better. Luffy will think Soge King's returned. Yo, I would love that. I need him to pull out the mask. Soge King. Usopp did say it was Dr. Vegapunk. That is also true, lazy mofos. That is true. That is 100% true. Gomu Gomu no... So presence of Gomu Gomu no Giant getting the punk records out of there. So being able to, like, yank them and take them with them. Dude, I need that. Actually, so there's two things I need, obviously, from Luffy here. With Vegapunk, number one, like you said, if Vegapunk is really going to come with us, the contract's going to be extended and he's going to come with us to Elbaf or wherever it is that he wants to go, right? If Vegapunk is to come with us, then I think it would be really, really interesting if they're going to have to take the records too, right? Like you said. So maybe that would mean the punk records become a part of the Sunny. Like in some way, shape, or form, the Sunny will carry the memories of Vegapunk and or all of that information, which is just insane to me if that is true. But I could also see a scenario where the punk records actually get destroyed, right? Because we still need Robin and them to find out a lot of this information on their own and not through access of this quote-unquote internet, right? Through a Google search. So I think it'll be very interesting to see how Oda plays around with that. Either we take the punk records with us or it's destroyed and left back here on the island. I guess we'll see what happens there in that regard. But then the other thing I need with Dr. Vegapunk, which is what I've been saying, now that we're really heading into this fruit stuff, which we saw a little bit of that this week with the artificial fruits and considering it was a failure and whatnot, I need Luffy because what is going to be so key for me in Vegapunk's knowledge of the Void Century is when Luffy transforms into, if he does it in this arc, if he goes for whatever reason Gear 5 in this arc, what is Vegapunk's response to that going to be? Because that is going to indicate just how much he knows about the Void Century. Is he going to know the name Nika? I'm going to assume he knows the name Joy Boy. Everybody knows the name Joy Boy. So it's like, he's going to know the name Joy Boy. Would that lead into his explanation of the origin of fruits? So, that is true. You definitely could have an awakened zone by now, Moody. Lucci equals Black Panther transformation finally being... Oh. I like that. I like that. I like that, Cody. I'm rocking with that, man. I'm rocking with that heavy. That would indicate brand new, just like what Shab was saying, brand new transformation. Like we're gonna have the opportunity to see Lucci now in a much stronger state, while also making it interesting. Like, oh man, he's gonna have like Moody says, awakened ability, but it's also going to be fully realized, right? Like Cody says, that'd be so dope. Luffy's gonna be like, to Luffy, I forgot my hockey at home last time. Let's finish this too. I dare him to do that, man. I'm telling you, Luffy won't even need to go into the gears. That's straight up Conqueror's coded hands. Like he can see all them hands, man. Afterglow, if we do get a scene like that, that would be so great, so great, man. Caribum can hold punk records. That is true, yeah. Caribou, yeah, Lo Mein San facts. Yeah, Caribum most certainly can. Caribou just has access to so much information. I could actually see him holding onto the records and then taking it back to his boss, whoever his boss is. Like, whether it be Crocodile, whether it be whoever in the Flying Flagnard is giving these orders to Caribou to get all the ancient weapon stuff. Whoever that boss is, I'm pretty sure they would love to have the punk records too, you know? So... So Jarosaurus says the egg on Roger's ship, so it would be like the two things, right? The egg on Roger's ship and then the punk records would be on the Sunny. I could see that. I could definitely see that being the case. Eric, my boy, Comes in with the 2 and says, the Lunarian fire is a piece of the eternal flame. So a piece. So the eternal flame of the Lunarians is a part of that eternal flame. That is interesting. So how would that work? Is the eternal flame something that comes in from like multiple different sources? Is that potentially what Big Mom was trying to create? Well, like making the utopia was maybe whenever you have all the races in one, you're able to create this eternal flame. But then at the same time, it's like if that's the case, then how was the One Piece created? I'm going to assume that the world has never ever been at peace to that extent. So it's like, but just in regards to Lunarians, just the Lunarians, if the Lunarians were able to like harness the power of this eternal flame temporarily, what would it take to create it like in its entirety? That is very interesting though, Eric. Very, very interesting. Thank you for the 2, brother. This whole this Allspark concept is destroying my brain, man. Vega needs to see Gear 5 because Luffy doesn't know his fruit origin yet. Exactly. And it'd be the best individual to talk about it, especially if the Gear 5 origin story leads into the origin story of fruits, which I think would be so key for all of us. If we look at the Void Century, the ancient kingdom of Lunarians, the Fire Folks, Fishermen, the Water Folks, Samurais, Stonemasons, and Giants, I don't know yet. Oh, well, the Giants would pretty much represent like those of mythology, right? When we look at going back to the whole Noah thing, which Oda is heavily inspired by, in biblical times, there were individuals who were huge. You know what I mean? Your Goliaths of the world, right? So if giants were really seen as these massive, like, just, that was the army of the world no one wanted to mess with. If that is the case, then mixing all of those, like you said, you would get something. Like, mixing their lineage factors. Mixing this from over here, this from over here, those lineage factors would create these fruits, which is very interesting that you say that, because I was talking to this with my boys last night, with Laz and Silva, about the origin of fruits and stuff. Because I have a few questions in regards to that. We've talked about this before, but why are they punished to the point to where they can no longer be on the sea after eating a fruit? That is going to be the most interesting question for me. I think that is going to be so cool. It's going to have a fairy tale-like story. Very excited to see what the reasoning for them being punished for eating this fruit is. Like, what caused that? Number 2, of course, is in regards to what you're saying for the potential creation of these fruits. We don't know if these fruits just came off of a tree, fairy tale style, not the manga, but like a fairy tale from like a mythology or something, where the fruit falls like the one that fruit that fell with Adam and Eve, and that's how we started this whole fruit concept. Or was it something that was artificially created, like Vegapunk attempting to recreate something from the Void Century, attempted his own version of creating artificial fruits, but it was unsuccessful. So maybe the people of the past, like you're saying, mix these different lineage factors. Like they mix the Lunarians to create the Mera Mera no Mi, doing all these different things in order to create all these different fruits that would give you all these different abilities, just based on different lineage factors. If that's the way they were going, then the origin of fruits is going to be insane. Insane. And I could definitely see that being the case. By mixing some of each, you would have like the whole, like the Dexter's Laboratory, some of this, sugar, spice, and everything nice. You get a fruit. You know, like, it's insane. Exactly, it said Powerpuff Girls. I think it was Kev earlier. Kev was in here. Shout out to Kev, the OG, man. That's a goat. Said the reason why Lucci is here for Vegapunk to notice that the Gear 5 is an awakened Zoan and explain what's so special about it. We need that. Like we were just saying, we most certainly need that, yo. 100%. Or Captain Planet by RuPaul's Combined. Yeah, that's true. Megazord style, you know? Yeah, most certainly. Captain Planet. Yeah, Afterglow. That is most certainly going to be a plot point for the story at some point in time, in the fact that they're all going to need to sync up, right? There's going to be a missing piece of information that is not going to come from one Vegapunk to the other, because they're not going to be given the opportunity to back up that information. we know that's going to come up eventually, right? And I think that's so cool. So cool. Lunarians plus Meta plus Nika. That's probably the Eternal Flame right there, man. It reminds me of the fire from Avatar when they went to see the Sun Warriors and had to carry a piece of it up to the Masters. That is true, Sindrad. That's actually a very good analogy. Very, very good analogy that I can visualize 100%. 100%. Yeah, that's factual. That is very, very factual. As a matter of fact, I could see that actually happening, right, within the series and within the Void Century. I like that a lot. Iron, what's good, yo? How far do you think they'll take Vegapunk? That's an interesting question, Pluto. You know, if they actually do take them with them, I'm going to assume Vegapunk is going to make it all the way up to Lodestar, at the very least. But, unless he stops at Elbaf to actually... Yo, I said Elbaf and my whole house almost came down. Unless he stops at Elbaf in order to, you know, go to the library of knowledge and or to study gigantification more, right? Or whatever his research is going to be. But if he does not stop at Elbaf, Vegapunk might go all the way to Lodestar, man. And maybe even far beyond that. Maybe he will actually be there, present for the One Piece, if, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, he is going to be, not necessarily a member of the Straw Hats, but someone integral, like important to the game, if he's still alive. So, I could see him going really far. It depending on what Oda's plan for that character is. So, we'll see what happens there. So I'll read a few more comments and then we'll be out of here. File stream. Let me get some water real quick and I'll read your comment. I would love to see Oda incorporate the famous Einstein's blunder into the story. That the biggest blunder in Einstein's life was that he thought he made a blunder. I like that file stream. Just from a character standpoint, we need to see that, continue to see that, because we already see certain implementations of that within this chapter. But absolutely, file stream. We definitely need to see that. Who's connected Jinbei's tattoo to Sankanika? So maybe if Vegapunk's tattoo, they'll talk about Sankanika and Luffy will wonder if that's Gear 5. That's interesting, Juan Carlos. And I would argue that, as I've been saying multiple times before, that Dragon's tattoo has a connection to Nika as well. Exactly, Alvaro Chavez. It would explain a lot. To answer your water question, failsafe. What if the folks who created it understood that you need to make a counter, because without that water counter, any Delphi would use there as a... Oh, Hemisphere, that's so true. So maybe that would be the reasoning why whatever caused that flood, because we assume a flood happened, right? That like reset the verse, that caused the Noah to go out and do its thing in the first place, Joy Boy's apology, all that stuff. Do you think that's why they flooded the earth with water? It's because they realized there were all these different eaters of fruits all over the place who would die from that. Oh, that would be such a tragic story of the past, man. If that actually is true, dude, that would mean the Void Century is going to end and everyone dying. And which we all expected to happen, but dying by drowning, dude? That would explain why we never saw anybody drown in the series. Because Oda's saving that for the flashback. He finally joins Dragon, now the world government is after him. I also like that comment a lot, Share the Dank. I do. Vegapunk becoming an official member of the Revolutionary Army. Facts. Yeah, Hemisphere. It's pretty much like following a blueprint. That's facts. That's facts. Yo, North Side, man. Elbaf, dude. It's crazy out here, son. It's crazy. The buildup is crazy. It is insane. Or the fruits are from another place and they're incompatible with the water world that is Earth. That is also interesting, Gyrosaurus. Very interesting. Like, it's incompatible with the Blue Sea, you know? Yeah, no, Hemisphere. No, that's a great idea, man. That is an awesome idea. Sage, my boy! Recon, what if the Eternal Flame is a power source that is synthesized via science plus hockey? Interesting. His Haki is powered by will, and one's will is eternal. Ooh, spit bars. So even 100 years later, the robots made it move. The robot's will, its will, made it move. Yo, Sage, I really like that theory, man. What did Dragon say again? Hold on, where's my volume? It was Listen to this. Yeah. Shout out to Monkey D. These things cannot be stopped. An inherited strength of will, one's dreams, the ebb and the flow of the ages, man. And of course, this is something that was stated by Roger. It was stated by Roger and whenever in Dragon's introduction panel. But, so, Roger speaking about the inherited strength of will. And obviously that's something that's been very important throughout the entire series. As you stated, it's visualized through Haki. But inherited will is one of the most important concepts in the entire series. So for that to actually be a part of a source of power, right? To me, it fits One Piece so well. It's like manifesting externally Haki, right? But that's just so insane to me, because then if that's true, then Kuma right now is exercising something very similar to the point to where his will is overriding everything that's there. Like, it's overriding all types of stuff. If that is Kuma's will, if it's not like a Vegapunk failsafe, like, oh, if I'm ever in trouble, you have to come save me or something, right? If it's not that, and that's actually Kuma's will trying to make it there because that is his own will, that would mean your will is capable of even overriding cyborg memory loss, whatever it is, right? And I think that's so interesting. So interesting. But y'all, awesome conversation today for a great chapter, man. Seriously, a great chapter. Mark Lee says, and I agree with this 100%, that Voice Sentry may as well be like the basement reveal on Attack on Titan that changes our look of the entire series. It will be. I promise you that, dude. It's going to be just like the basement in regards to where our entire perspective, it is going to recontextualize the entire series, which is why Oda has waited this long to give us anything for it. I strongly believe for that to be the case. Strongly. Couldn't agree more with that. But I will see y'all next time. That was a fun one, man. That was a fun chapter. Great discussion. A lot of things to talk about. Obviously here, the high part at the end of the chapter with Dragon is obviously something that I just cannot wait to see. And then, of course, Rob Lucci pulling up and a lot of greatness there. But I'm really interested in the storytelling elements that Oda is going for here as well. It's just, it's crazy. It's just crazy to me that we're about to have a scenario. Bonnie's about to be given something that is that's obviously going to be resolved. Vegapunk wants to join the Strides on their journey to somewhere, and so it's just Oda's cooking, and the chapter just had everything, like adventure piece, lore piece, hype piece. It was just absolutely love this chapter, man. Really love this chapter. Oda's cooking. We're in a great stretch right now, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Oda is gonna have in store for us whenever we come back from break. So I will see y'all next time for some more goatness, and then I appreciate you, GoldenEye, man. Thank you, Pluto. Andres Gonzalez was good, yo. Yeah, facts. The Hattori drift, you already know he was looking good. But I really appreciate y'all for being here, man. It was a lot of fun. But I will see y'all for the next, either the chapter reaction, the afterthoughts, or potentially if we have the opportunity. I know there's going to be a lot of family events next week, so my original plan is I want to do something next week since there potentially is going to be, or there was probably going to be a break. Now that for sure there's a break. My plan was to do something next week, but I don't know because you know how we Hispanics do it, man. You never know how long you're going to be in one of those events. So if I get out early enough, we could probably talk about One Piece or something next week. But if not, then I'll see y'all for the next chapter after the break. So y'all have a good one. Take care. Goat Peace is firing at all cylinders, man. And I appreciate y'all so much for